catch myself just thinking random shit. Were you coming for me? Like, I think she was coming for me. Or I think he lied to me. That's like, you been watching this whole time? You and your best friend, you been watching me? How about you just be what you needed? I didn't belong anywhere.
My wool comes at a very hefty price. Or as they say, heavy as the crown.
Like, I can't be one of the ones that like belong to God because look at everything that's been allowed to happen to me. Look at all the things that are happening around me. Like, where's God at? I'm not saying that God doesn't exist. Anyway. It's always in there. Actually, just that sounds so. Anyway, I don't know why I was telling you guys about that. How was I telling you about that? I don't know. I'm just reflecting. Happens every 26,000 years. Anyway, but does that mean that we've completed some type of cycle? That was happening? Completed a cycle, and so now there's something is about to shift again? Maybe? Maybe? Yeah. If you learn that you maybe misjudged someone, I want to encourage you to make that right. If you know that you've dismissed someone or thrown someone out to the trash or to the wolves, and they didn't even deserve it, and you finally realize that, just, it's okay to say, hey, I think I made a mistake. Even if we're not going to be friends or whatever. Okay. I remember a time before cell phones. I invested $3.07 in roundups. I sure did on Cash App. So you know I'm a hopeful romantic, and I love to people watch. Me and my posse. Then, who is sending that signal to Earth? The pulse. It's something, some place or something has been transmitting it's a signal. It's a signal that has been detected that's coming from another place, and it's known. I hate the feeling that I'm not in control because I control the car, right? Just right now, my anxiety is gripping me. So the other day I ran into my cousin, one of my cousins that I haven't seen in a long time, and I asked her how she was doing, and she started to regurgitate this story to me that was so pitifully sadly familiar. And I was like, wow, so it wasn't just in my head. And that's what I was saying. Every time I doubt my my intuition and what things that I know, like, y'all doing the most. Y'all trying the actual shit with me, or with us, with a specific group of people. And the story sounded like, I'll come back to that because I don't want to just give this to you any old kind of way sitting in the car. I'd rather I'll come back to this. I don't know. It's like what I want to say to her, for her to know, like, hands down, is you can't let them get you, cousin. You can't let them get you. When people inflict an injury on you, and they inflict an injury on you, and then try to limit your feedback about that injury, and then they take it a step further and try to penalize you, and then a lot of times even deem you as crazy and slander you and tell others that you're out of your mind. I've been through that. I know that you're not making that up because I've only told a very few people about that. I mean, I talk about it on this channel a lot. That what you described to me the other day is like identical your situation as to what I've gone through in the last few years, and that's very specific to a specific culture, and it can be in any workplace. We could be talking about state, federal, private, commercial, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's a culture of people that do that. Someone that would, again, do something offensive to you, speak negatively about you and to you, and then when you defend yourself and your reputation, no, I didn't mess the system up, no, I didn't mess that account up, no, I didn't mess your house up, no, I've not been, you know what I mean? Like, you're able to speak for yourself, and they try to take that from you. How can you work for an agency for almost 5 years and not know that you have a union? Isn't union representation supposed to be made visible and available to the people that it's afforded to? I went through something where it was so dark and so nasty, and I didn't even know that I had union representation, that I could find someone, and that I had gone and had several meetings. This is after several years of zero issues, zero write-ups, no strikes on my record at all, nothing but praise and accolades and crazy respect, man. To all of a sudden, what is it that you're writing me up for now? Because I know your policies like the back of my hand. So what part of your policy has been broken by me? And you're scrambling. And that's not the first meeting that's happened in for me, but I'm so sorry to hear that it's happening to him, even though intuitively I knew, but I've been hoping that that's not the case. That these individuals would limit your resources to help yourself. And how can anyone do that? That is what tells if you have a soul or not. That is what tells if you have any type of belief system. Another one of my sisters, my spiritual sisters, I'm just listening and just absorbing the feedback. We pick and choose what we take in. Excuse me, whether you realize it or not. But her observation that, and I agree, it's concurrence, it resonated, that we're dealing with a cult. I think it's like a shadow cult of men. It's the brotherhood. That's a specific group of individuals who, I don't know, it's like, I think it's because, like, for myself, I represent a woman that people said that I would do a whole lot of stuff that I never did. And not only never did, I never would do. But it's been said. People think that because if they speak it long enough, then that makes it true. And if their degree of importance or their social rankings will somehow like make it okay, and it's not okay. I made sure. It's like intuitively I knew what was really going on. So you pull me into a meeting to talk about some bogus shit that you just made up. You know what my response was to these people? And none of them can lie and say that what I'm saying is not the truth if you ever come across them. I wouldn't even talk about what they were trying to talk about. I went straight into, so first of all, it's annoying that I'm sitting in this space with you, all of you with all of your degrees and all of the skills and experience that led you into these seats, and you're sitting here talking to me about some bogus shit when I've done nothing but be good to this agency, nothing but do my job. I know when it's having to pick up my slack, it's quite the opposite for me and a lot of my fellow co-workers, not the other people that were on the same level as me, because they definitely, those other 2 or 3 ladies held their own. They were strong. I'm like, you don't get to just shit on me. Because I came here when I was at the end of somebody trying to shit on me, trying to be mean to me. I came here right. This was my new beginning. So I promise you, I wasn't coming here to play with y'all. But when I'm talking to a young woman who is significantly younger than me, who is a single mother like I used to be, now my children are adults, I needed to stop that as I was getting way too hype. But I just want to encourage my cousin and anybody else, if you've ever been like for real just fucked with, like somebody that couldn't stand it, that they couldn't get you, that they couldn't make you sad, that they couldn't make you mad, they couldn't steal your joy, not completely away. In a long-term supposedly exclusive relationship, man, you're taking between $60,000 and $80,000 in one relationship. Another one, you're taking almost, over $100,000 annually. You're taking that out. So there's a layer of my stability that's going to be gone. Plus the things that people share in a relationship. You've taken like that's gone out the door, all because I said, hey, what the fuck? What did you just say to me? Or what are you saying about me? Just because it's accountability when people try to behave like children as adults, and their egos make them do stupid shit. Coming in the house at 3 o'clock in the morning, what the fuck you think I was gonna do? Did you think I was not gonna say something? I mean, I'm not, tossing fuel on your clothes or nothing like that, but I'm not supposed to say nothing. Or at work, you try to write me up for some bogus shit. I didn't even do anything. You think I'm not gonna say something to you? You think I'm not gonna ask you to further explain the decision? Help me understand exactly. Okay, when was this policy written? When did you make me aware of it? Where was I supposed to have read? Where did I initial that I received and read? What do you talk? Oh, this is more of that building the plane while you're flying and shit. There's actually 2 places that I worked at that said that. But anyway, yeah, they get called out. In the relationships, I don't care what you bring in financially, or I did cared about losing the security and comfort in knowing that I'm sharing a roof with a protector. I live like the men. I think it's because the men that were the closest to me, they were guardians. They were warriors. They were men of honor. And even in there, it doesn't mean that they were perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. People have different vices and habits and tastes, whatever. But they were gentlemen, and they stood for honor. They always did the right thing, like bottom line, right thing. It doesn't mean that they didn't have their indulgences. Again, I'm not saying that they were perfect, but it's like if you drop poison on an apple, say you were the apple. You know what I mean? You are life. You're full of life. And if there's something that's on you, you have to cut it off. And sometimes that means, hurting yourself for a time, because you're cutting something out of your life that is literally hurting you. Whether it's a romantic relationship or a long-term friendship, someone that's constantly trying to invalidate you, someone that's constantly, what is it called, gaslighting you, starting arguments about nothing. To deal with that, like, it's heartbreaking. To experience heartbreak is a process. This is not like an episode type of event. This is like for all of the room that had to be made for the people that hurt you to show up the way that they did. I'm just saying, you're already like it's uphill when you are a single parent. I don't care what your salary is. You're dividing up your time. You're dividing up your space. You are a protector. We have to train ourselves to put ourselves as first again as mothers. That's why, because of what I know I invested in myself and in my children and in my situation, for it to get back to me, that it's ever been said that I'm neglectful, that I neglected my children, that I abandoned my children. There are people that I won't even allow in my space because I've heard that the rumor trickled off of their lips. Some of them onto their ears, and they didn't say anything to me, and I was just like, wow. Like you tell me that it's over, and you take my keys and you put me out, me and my children, and then try to act like you didn't. And then, like, because what woman would uproot herself and 2 or 3 children, with no job, no car, no formal education? What woman would do that? I'm just saying. But how fast I went to pick myself up, and without hurting anyone. You can come out of it almost unscathed. The only bruises that you'll have are the ones that you've inflicted on yourself for the people that have been involved with me and made it go that far. It's like I'm talking about this. This is important now with relation to the career, to the job, and the situation where I experienced. I hope that my kinfolk, that what she's experiencing is not nearly as horrific as what I experienced, because I definitely had to walk into my place fully armored with the word of God, fully sheathed and covered and anointed. When I walked into the building, I wasn't coming in with the same type of confidence that they were coming in with. And I'm just saying, I know what it's like when you're looking at people and they're looking you right in your eyes and promoting a facade about you that it's like in your worst nightmares you couldn't be this piece of shit they're describing. You're like, what are you talking about? So where in my profile has this ever been addressed, or have I ever been written up for us to be having a meeting about it now? Like, it's just like. So I found myself like several times just straight up asking, like, hey, is this real? Like, is this a real conversation? With some of the stuff that I was hit with, and the way the situations, the simple conversations, had been blown completely out of proportion. And then, like, I'm gonna say, like, the bigger, like, when they started to get like aggressive with me, to try to be aggressive with me in the workplace, is I noticed the use of IT personnel and technology. How can 2 or 3 people have worked at one station with no problems? We're using a generic login, so it's not even specific to me or her or him. But then this one elder, she was the oldest person there. This lady, a beautiful older woman. She well past the age of retirement, kept having technical issues. And after a while, a lot of employers will start to kind of insinuate that it must be user error because you keep having this issue. And so I'm like, I could be crazy, but if there's a relationship between the manager and the IT personnel, if this could be how they utilize IT to kind of weed out the people that they don't want to be there, making it seem like they have an enormous amount of trouble tickets and it's something. I'm like, when you really stop and think about those accusations, the person, that means that your regular old customer service representative or your old regular old data entry clerk is somehow also an IT professional and knows how to jack your system up. This is a psychosis of dimwits, the psychosis of dimwits to try to come for hardworking, innocent men and women just trying to take care of themselves. Because it's like someone that doesn't have any experience with this software or with this Windows brand, that they can barely even type 15 miles an hour. Some of us, like, I type like 68 miles an hour words per minute. Anyway, I know what I type, but I'm just saying that there are people that are going through what I've been through, and what my cousin told me she's gone through, and she's going through, been accused of things that they don't even have the, like, where would I have even acquired that knowledge about your backdoor access to Oracle? Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And I'm just saying. I'm gonna tell you how Spirit Houdini'd me out of what I know was a sticky situation, and I didn't even know. I honestly didn't, but I told you I've been practicing listening to my intuition, and when Spirit communicates something to me, if my spidey sense is engaged and I think to make a move in a different direction, I do that. I'm loyal to it. And people were already moving sideways and acting funny, and I didn't even know that that any of it was related. I was just like, you acting weird as hell. I don't know what's wrong with you. Regarding the misuse of IT personnel and like that line of disciplinary, when a company is trying to slide out from under responsibility for their own mistakes and their errors in judgment, maybe hiring cousins, in-laws, fellow brothers or sisters in their fraternity or sorority, people that were maybe appointed to a position just like them, but that didn't mean that they were credentialed and had the capacity to understand the importance of their role. Otherwise, they would have been doing stupid shit or making mistakes. They would have put down their pride and their egos and allowed the advice to come from professionals that actually knew what they were doing, respectfully. I had this one guy try to say, like, use respectfully, disrespectfully to me. And I was just like, I would have to care more about your opinion of me and your feelings for that to, like, hit like you needed it to hit. Because it just isn't hitting. Like, I'm not easily, like, I actually do bruise very easily. But if I don't have the right level of respect for you, I don't care about what you're saying to me. You can't hurt me. cousin. They can't hurt you. They don't know what all you had to go through to end up even working in that building with them. There's some people that look at you and will automatically want to keep you back instead of helping you when you clearly have love in your heart. You clearly are a good person. You're just trying to make it, and you could be sitting up doing nothing. Let me tell you, here in the last year or so, I was on unemployment for a little while. I got zero shame because of all of the years that I've been working my ass off to sit back and still make a little more than half of what I was getting. Like, just getting unemployment. I'm just saying, you're still doing something. And regardless of if you have a job or not, you're a beautiful person. You're a beautiful woman. You are. Anyway, so the Houdini was that, and I wasn't even trying to, but again, I'm just listening to myself. It might be a good idea to do this or to do that. As long as I'm not hurting anyone or compromising anyone, I don't tell myself no. I'm not compromising myself or you. I'm not hurting myself or you or anyone else. So I do a lot of what I want to do, respectfully. Especially if there's nothing or no one in the way. I can do this, and this is free fun. I'm okay. Okay. Something told me to record the issues that I'm having with my computer, because if I follow the troubleshooting steps, that resets the system completely. And IT has specifically said that they wanted to see what was happening. I can't reproduce it. So they're all sending back this ticket like, well, we gave her the troubleshooting steps and the issue is still unresolved. And I was like, okay. So I would use my company phone and I would just record what's happening just randomly, because it's happening so often. My whole screen is just going black for no reason. But then it comes back on and all the things are still logged into. And I was like, I intuitively, again, I was like, I know that you guys have this big brother shadowing over my shoulder ass, micromanaging ass system, right? I understand you needing to get a peek in, you want to micromanage to that degree, but your toy is interfering with me doing my job. So if you can just fix that so I can get back to excelling at what I do, so I can get back to wowing the shit out of your callers, wowing the shit out of your team, if you can just back up long enough for me to do that. Anyway, so I recorded, and the phone caught what happened. And so I'm preparing to send it to IT. It's just, and the other reason why I was even deciding to do it, a week before that, a manager said that I did something in an account that I didn't do. And I was like, well, show me where. See, I know how to look at the back door of this thing right here, right? After I said I didn't, but obviously I know how. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, how did my credentials get there? And I wasn't even in the building whenever that happened. Somebody needs to explain that to me. It showed that I did something that I actually didn't do. It says it right here. It says this date and time. There are cameras where I live at that can show you. And your building, I walked out of here. You want to talk about mouths dropped open, jaw on the ground? They knew it. They knew it. Not only did you not get me, but I actually got you. I got you. And you got mad about it. In my beautiful cousin's case, this is fast forwarding because obviously mine did not end well. I mean, in a way it did, because I'm no longer, surrounded by slithering, slimelin, lilanin snakes. So, but there's a young woman, and she represents the many silent, muffled voices of the people who are still in that environment. It's not an environment that's meant for you to stick around. And honestly, an elder told me years ago that if you are in the same position for more than 2 years with no raise and no movement, you are not growing anyway. You're not growing. Don't get so comfortable that you stay there. I was like, I don't know. I started at a place making $18 an hour. Less than 5 years later, I'm making $30 an hour. Doing pretty much the same thing that I was doing from the jump. Not the exact same thing. I got a couple of promotions. But I'm just saying, like, with that, even that doesn't make it worth it. When someone is taking digs at you on a daily basis, digs at your professional reputation, and you ain't done nothing? You ain't done nothing? How long are you going to take that? I didn't even know to ask for a, what's it called? To ask for union representation. Is there someone that can represent me in this meeting on the other side of this table? Is there somebody else that can come and talk to me? That's just so bright. Someone else that can come and talk to me and tell me what my options are in this situation. Explain exactly what I did that was wrong, because I didn't do anything. I didn't break any of your rules. I didn't break the law when I worked for state and federal contractors, or when I worked private. Like, I'm not saying that I'm perfect, because I definitely wasn't perfect. But I'm just saying I haven't been whining about it, so to speak. I told you guys I'd be hard on myself sometimes. So it doesn't always just have to be some shit. But I mean, if it is, what's up,